Hi. So I'm sitting at home, casual, obviously, in you can probably see Sailor Moon, and I have my corset on. So I specifically wanted to make a video. I think it's just like a let me tell you what had happened video and a little bit of a lesson. Just like a thinker. I do want to just grab my notebook with my notes. I did want to make my YouTube about my life and my glow up journey and making new friends. I did not join the women's group yet. I've actually made a decision to postpone that until I started classes again because right now, honestly, the summer semester drained me so much. So I do want to be able to rest. Like I only did a few things yesterday, which was Saturday. Today is Sunday. But I probably won't put this particular video out until later this week. Because I have a Sunday video I want to put out. Doesn't matter. So yeah, so this happened to me last week. And this is like no shade towards my neighbor. She's actually a super sweet lady, but I do have to set a boundary because I don't know if it's like an older person thing, but every time she sees me, she gives me something, and I'm gonna tell her like, please don't do that again. Like it's a bit uncomfortable because I don't want to feel like they're buying me or I'm buying you or something like that. I don't know. It's weird. I don't know. Am I overthinking it? Whatever. Whatever. Moving on. So I have my corset on. I'm corseting because I want to be snatched, and I'm very casually dressed. Just got some, but it's actually too big now. I actually need to buy another one even smaller. This is a small from this brand. I got the smallest they have. And I have a 27-inch waist, and I got the smallest, but I'm already graduating. I need something smaller. So yeah, so that's where it comes to the neighbor. So I was outside with my cat, and because he likes to just hang out, and it's a building. So she was walking by, we have our conversation, and she's like, "What's that you have on?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm corseting. I'm trying to get snatched." She's like, "What's snatched?" And I said, "A smaller waist, more hourglass." And she said to me, "Oh, you don't need that." And I said, "But I want it." And then we continued the conversation, and she's telling me about her life and things like that. And, and I don't think she had bad intentions. I truly don't think she had bad intentions. She's a very sweet lady. I am going to stop the gift giving because it's awkward. Because I'm not giving her anything back, and I'm not about to go out of my way to feel like I owe her something, So it's getting weird. Anyway, not the point. So yeah, so she was telling me about, how back when she was my age and when she first moved to Miami, how much she drank and partied and had fun. And I'm like, okay, cool, yeah, I drink a lot, blah blah blah, but I'm sober. I'm 11 months and 4 days sober as of right now, as of me recording this. Um, it'll be a few days later when I post it. But anyway, so yeah, so she's telling me how much she used to drink. I'm surprised I didn't end up in rehab, things of that nature. And I'm just like, okay, girl, okay. Is my thinking wrong? Sorry, okay. Just making sure, okay. So I'm just, listening and out of my head. And she's like, but you don't need that thing. And I'm like, okay, but I want it. And she's like she brought it up like over 3 times. Like, crazy enough, we ended up talking, and I had to put this in my head too. Don't let this happen again. We ended up speaking for over an hour. And it actually pissed me off because I wanted to go to bed at like 9:30 that night, and I did not end up going to bed until close to 11 because we didn't stop talking till after 10. And we're standing outside in Miami, and I had to shower again because I was sweating my balls off. I only intended to let my cat sit outside for 10 minutes, and then this conversation turned into like a whole thing. Anyway, but yeah, we talk, blah blah blah, and she'd bring up, you don't need that corset, you don't need that corset. So here's like the lesson I want to give, or whatever, speaking on because I don't want to feel like an advice person, or at the same time, I do feel like I have gems to drop, and I listen to a lot of people on YouTube who drop their gems, and I think that we can all learn from them. And you'll see through my journey if you watch continuously, which I hope you do. How much stuff I learned from YouTubers, and I got editing software, and I hope that I can start cutting, and I don't think the word is chopped and screwed, but like cutting people's, and like there's a lot of creators I love, and especially about confidence and preserving your energy, which is something I definitely had to learn because I don't attract the right friends. I maintain friendships that weren't necessary for the wrong reasons. But anyway, back to this woman. Yeah, she kept saying she kept telling me how drunk she used to get. Like, she's like, yeah, we'd be on the boats, we'd do that, but you don't need that corset. I would have been so wrong if I would have said, but you didn't need to drink that much in your 20s. I look at it like this. You lived your youth how you wanted to live your youth. Allow me to enjoy my youth. If I want to spend my youth in a corset getting snatched, allow me to do that. I'm not hurting anybody. And actually, this shirt hurt a little more. Not tight enough. I need a new one. But whatever. Like, I'm not hurting anybody. I'm literally not. You were literally killing your liver. Like, alcohol is literally poison. Like, you can sit here and say, oh, this bread, that bread, um, may not be good for you, blah blah blah. You know, this fruit, this that, blah blah blah. But alcohol is guaranteed poison. You know, you are guaranteed to be poisoning yourself. And I'm not trying to judge drinkers, because obviously it's not like a bam, you're you know, because I would have been a long time ago, you know. But you know, you're literally telling me how drunk you used to get, and yet you keep emphasizing to me how much I don't need corseting. She probably said it like 10 times. I'm gonna be honest, because she kept bringing it up, and I'm like, no, I'm gonna wear it. Like I said, my parents said, no, I'm gonna wear it. I want my waist to be smaller, but you're already small. I want my waist smaller. I want to be tiny. I want to, you know, it's what I want. And she's like, does it really work? I said, well, it looks like it works for other people, and if it doesn't, and honestly, even if it doesn't, that's my money wasted. That's my business, you know. Nobody's getting hurt, and that's why I do think it works. Because actually, this was tighter, and now it's like nothing. It's like, I guess they call that. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna tie this. Graduating until you get the next level of corseting. And I once again, I don't think she had bad intentions. And sorry, I'm like circling, still needing YouTubing, where the intention is like, even when people have good intentions, because I don't, but then again, I really don't know her. Yeah, I really don't. She's a neighbor I speak to on occasion, but I don't think she had bad intentions necessarily. She probably well, I did tell her I'm vain. I said to her, this was when I was trying to make it the final one, because like I said, she kept bringing it up. I said, listen, I'm very vain. I am very vain. I want my waist smaller. And she's like, ha ha ha, I'm too old to be vain. And that's partially my point. You know, you already had your youth, and she has to be like mid 50s or maybe older. I don't know. Honestly, she's white. Sometimes it's hard for me to tell white people ages, and that is not a dig. You know, most people don't can't tell I'm 35. You know, so people's ages like skincare. Oh my god, I should have bought a cup of water. This is 7 minutes straight talking. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna end it at 10. But yeah, people may or may not have good intentions. Let's just say we're leaving it in the air. She may have had good intentions, she may not. You know, but at the end of the day, ooh, that cough. At the end of the day, my beauty standards are my beauty standards. If I want a tiny waist, that's on me. You know, that's on me to do that. If there's harm in that's on me, a 35-year-old grown woman, to deal with those consequences. The same way when she was between her 20s and 30s, she decided to drink herself into possibly needing rehab, and she actually joked about being surprised she didn't end up in rehab. And this is no shade to her. I don't actually think she'll ever see this, to be honest. She has a very basic cell phone, and even if she does, there's no shade. My whole point of this is, you had your life. So I had a coffee still getting me. You live your life. Allow me to live mine the way I want to live. You know, you already had your youth. You know, I'm not hurting anybody. And preserve your beauty standard. You know, like, I want a tinier waist. I actually have, like, for a thin body, quite a curvy figure. I want it to be curvier, and that's my prerogative, you know? So you may hear things, and I actually want to make a whole separate video about this, because especially being a black woman, even though this conversation was with a white woman, being a black woman, I don't fit the black beauty standard. I do, admittedly, have more Eurocentric beauty standards for myself. You know, and I don't project my beauty standards on anyone else. I don't say, oh, you should be skinny, you should be this, you know, because I like being skinny, but I want to be skinny and curvy. I've actually started weight training, so I do want to be muscular, but more like sculpted. You know, not like but more like a nice. You know, I just want to look strong. But anyway, preserve your own beauty standards, because people are always going to tell you, oh, you don't need this, you don't need that. But if you want that, do what you want. You get one life, and she had one life. And once again, no shade, you had one life, and you wanted to spend your youth drunk, and that's perfectly fine. I spent a lot of my youth drunk. I'm only 11 months sober, so I'm not here to judge, you know. But I'm not gonna go bragging about it. That's just me personally. You know, that's the past. But I will brag about this tiny waist when this waist is popping. You know, which I think it's a little popping now. So it's pop. But I'm gonna end the video, because I don't think YouTube lets me upload more than 10 minutes, and I'm at 9:30. So I'm gonna end it so that way I can upload this, or schedule the upload. Like and subscribe, please. Mwah.